Quilters, it's Pam Heller from AccuQuilt. I'm here today to tell you about our new bear's paw die. So let's see what kind of project you can make. Okay, first of all, I did not name this project because it's a little punny. It's called Walking Barefoot. Okay, I know, I didn't name it. But isn't this a cool block? It makes a 14-inch finished bear's paw block. So let's talk about how you can make it. First of all, you're going to need our new bear's paw die. So I need to show you a couple of things about it. It's really important when you're making this project that you read the directions, because when we put the pieces together, we're going to sew them mirror imaged. So it's really important to pay attention. So when you're getting ready to cut out all the pieces for your block and your quilt, what you're going to do is, this is shape A, these two shapes are B, this is C, and this is D. So when you're cutting with two-tone, because we're going to make a two-color quilt, the first color you're going to cut shapes A, B, and C. And then the second color, which in this case is white, we're going to cut B, C, and D. So I'll show you how to do it. It's really easy. All right, first of all, this is a two-tone foam, so it's going to show you really easy where you want to lay that fabric. We want to make sure lengthwise green is going back and forth across that die board. So you want to take that label right here, put it at your belly. Now you'll notice that our bear's paw die is a little bit smaller than most of our dies. That's so it can fit in our Go Baby, our Go, and our Go Big fabric cutter. So all three of them. Now I'm going to give you a little tip of the day. We're going to cut these half square triangles right here. Look how cute these are. All right. So when you're cutting half square triangles, you're going to cut more half square triangles than any other shape in the quilt. So first of all, since I'm just cutting these two shapes, so those 4 half square triangles, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm just going to measure the width of those two shapes. It's about 5.5 inches. So then I'm going to tell you to just rough cut 6 inches of fabric off the edge of your yardage or your bolt. Doesn't have to be exact, but we want to just be able to, we don't want to waste fabric. So if you do 6 inches, you've added 1/4 inch on either side. So that's what I've done here. Now I'm going to give you kind of a really cool tip. Since I'm going to sew these half square triangles together, I'm going to cut them together. So I'm going to put right sides together. Oh, I so love white on white fabric, okay? Make sure it's the right way. So I have right sides together. Now I'm just going to barely cover my half square triangles, and then I'm going to just fan fold back and forth across the die. Now quilters, make sure you're just barely covering that shape. We don't want you to waste fabric. And we can cut up to 6 layers. So I can go back and forth 3 times. Alrighty. Look how easy that is. Now listen, you're all stressed about this tail. Don't be stressed. Watch this. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it next to the die. I'm going to put my cutting mat on top. I don't want to put it on top because then I've exceeded the 6-layer rule, okay? But if I put it next to it, it's going to go through the cutter really easily because inside our Go fabric cutter there are no blades, just rollers. So I'm going to put it right here. Now remember, this die you can use either in your Go or your Go Baby or your Go Big. See, look, that tail, nothing happened, it's awesome. Okay. When I get to the other side, I'm going to take this and give it some love because that static builds up underneath those cutting mats, and slide that mat off, don't lift. Now look, here's the rest of my tails, so I could do 6 more layers and continue to go. And now look at this. Ta-da! We have cut perfect half square triangles. And we put right sides together, and look, we've cut off the dog ears. Ta-da! So right here from the top of this point to the bottom of this point, perfect 1/4 inch seam. You're welcome. So quilters, today I'm going to show you how we're going to put together these units here. So these are just half square triangles that we've sewn together. And remember, we want to keep them mirror images. So maybe you want to have a stack that are facing one direction and a stack that are facing the other direction so that you don't make too many pieces. Again, you want to refer to that free pattern that's included in your die. So now I'm going to take my half square triangle. I'm going to tell you to cut all those pieces first. And then you can just chain stitch for days. You want to get you a piece of jumper fabric. So I have a little piece of jumper fabric right here, because if I try to sew that 1/4 inch right here from the top, it's going to bury my needle and then it's going to be crabby. All right, here we go. All right. All right, so I'm just going to continue down and sew my 1/4 inch seam. So quilters, I'm going to tell you this great story. When I first started quilting 20 years ago, bear's paw was one of the first blocks that I ever cut. And I was really excited because it's such a traditional pattern, and I really was excited to make the quilt. I never finished the quilt because I could never get those dog ears straight. And so I have an unfinished project that I'm never ever going to finish. All right, now we're going to give it a press. All right, so now I'm just going to set that seam. We're quilters, we press to the dark side. And remember, you just want to press. You don't want to iron and stretch out that fabric. So I'm going to press it right here. Now look how pretty that is. So quilters, I would sew these two pieces together to create this unit. And then I would follow the instructions to continue to build the units for each one of the blocks. So we would add a square here, a rectangle here. You would want to follow those instructions. So remember, our bear's paw block finishes to 14 inches, which is huge, which is what I love. So think about it. You could make a table runner or a wall hanging. You could make a really fun bed runner. Wouldn't that be fun in flannels? Also, I only use 2 colors for my bear's paw, but I love the fact that we added that gray into it. Kind of gives it a nice look. But just think, you could make all of the blocks different colors, bust up your stash. So where can you get our bear's paw die? You can get it, of course, from AccuQuilt.com or from your local signature retailer. Remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more.